Hot Mornings, Hot Radio Maine. Welcome to the program, young Devyn. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So before I even heard music from young Devyn, Scott,
Mhm.
Ayala, they were like, you got to talk to her. You got to meet her. She's got like this great energy and
Right.
already off the jump, I can tell.
Thank you.
What fuels the good energy for you? What gives young Devyn life?
Definitely life itself, just waking up every morning. I come from a very rough environment where a lot of people haven't even made it to my age. I'm 19.
Mhm.
I have friends that I've lost since the age of 14 up until now. So just being alive alone and beating the odds of my neighborhood is one thing that just keeps me motivated and keeps my energy up. And then, just seeing my dreams turn into reality. Like I've been working, been doing music for a very long time. And
Right.
just to see things that I've dreamt about, I'm actually doing. I used to watch a lot of these things that I'm doing on YouTube, like my favorite rappers, and I'm finally in the same spot. So it really be like a surreal feeling, like I'm really living a dream.
The youngest person to do one of the BET Hip Hop Awards ciphers, right? That had to be
Right.
something that you used to watch. And then to be the youngest person to do one's crazy.
Absolutely insane because, well, for multiple reasons. Number one, being a fan of hip hop, of course, the
Mhm.
BT Hip Hop Cypher, like as an MC, that's kind of one of like your pit stops. I feel like MC should want to accomplish. And then, on top of that, like the year before, I was saying to my mom, I'm like, mommy, like I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna be on there next year. Mind you, I had no connects in the hip hop industry. Like I was still just starting to rap and I had no way of knowing how I was gonna get there. And so said, so done. A year
Yeah.
later, I was there, and so it was just such a surreal moment, being on a red carpet, seeing how people were receiving me, and then like all the doors that opened because of the cipher. It really just it warmed my heart, and I was really just super blessed and happy about that.
Now, obviously, you got presented to me as like this new artist. And when I hear new
Yeah,
artist, especially in rap, there's we've been doing it for a couple years, and then TikTok took a hold of my song and blew up. And
right.
you actually have like this background in the soca world for
Yep.
years. For our listeners that might not be familiar what that is, can you explain a little bit about what that is and
Right.
just talk about your presence in that genre and what you've been doing?
So when I was 8 years old, I started. That's how I got into doing music. I was singing soca music. I did a school talent show, and that went crazy. People thought I was actually a special guest performer. And then because of that, my mom's friend, he has a friend also who is a host of a radio show. So it was like a friend of a friend of a friend.
Right.
And then he was like, I heard you. You were singing a little soca song. You want to come sing on the radio? And I'm like, yeah, why not? But I'm not thinking he's talking about right there in a moment. I'm thinking he's saying like for future, future tense. And no, like he pulled me through my
Put you on
mom's
the
car
spot.
window and took me into the radio and told my mother stay in the car. First of all, to this day, I question my mother, why would you let me go in a building with a man and just. But he took me in the building, told my mother to turn the radio on. She turned the radio on. Not even 5 minutes later, she heard my voice on the radio singing. And it was such a groundbreaking thing because there was no kid doing soca music. Like I was the only kid in the genre at the time.
Right.
So everybody was talking about me. It was like the buzz. Who was this little girl? Like, where did she come from? I didn't even know where I came from because I never even thought out to do music. So then I started just getting booked for shows. And I'm of course, after seeing the response of people, I realized like, okay, this is something that I want to take serious and do. So I started doing soca, ended up getting huge in soca, traveling, performing in front of like 30,000 people at 10, 11 years old, having my own tours around the
Mhm.
Caribbean. But then it was like, it'll be weird, right? Because I would have a sold out show in like, let's say St. Martin on a Saturday. And then I take a flight home Sunday. And Monday I'm taking a bus and train to school like regular.
Yeah.
So it was like a
What are you like,
disconnect.
Hannah Montana over there?
Yeah, no, literally in my school, that was like my thing. Like everybody's supposed to get
Yeah.
on. It was a disconnect for me because I'm like, that just goes to show me like, wow, soca music is definitely known and embraced, but it's not even a mainstream thing. Like you need to tell me there's thousands of people who come to my shows in other countries and I still take the bus like regular,
Mhm.
like without even being noticed. And I'm like, you know what? I love my culture. I love where I come from. I think that I want to be the artist to bridge that gap. Not only because I'm from Trinidad, but I'm also, I was born in New York. So it's like that authenticity is there on both ends. I'm fully invested in my culture, damn near grew up in Trinidad. And then it's like, I'm from Brooklyn. I have the balance of both sides and I know what both sides want. And then, so I always said I would do a more mainstream genre. rapping was like the last thing on my list though. Like I never thought I would be a rapper. I thought I would be like some pop singer or some R&B singer. And then after watching like a Nicki Minaj documentary, and I actually watched it for the first time in years yesterday, like, you know, it inspired me just seeing how hard she was working and, you know, different things like that. And I'm like, you know what, let me try this. You know, this might be cool, but it wasn't like a venture in a sense of that this was going to be my career. I just wanted to try it. It ended up working out for me, clearly, you know, and fast forwarding, I'm here.
So obviously you talked about going to these festivals and doing these shows, you know, for a new artist, you've already been in front of like massive crowds and you've performed alongside big soca artists, seasoned artists. What's one piece of advice that somebody's given you that stuck with you that you continue to think about on your journey?
A lot. Like, one of the things that I learned from Masha Montano, like he's like the biggest artist in soca music. He taught me, because I used to ask him all the time, like, I used to sit, because me and him, we got a close relationship really fast. Like the first night I met him, I performed with him. Like I literally went into I didn't know how big he was, right? So I'm my little 8-year-old self. I'm walking in his dressing room, pushing past the security. And I'm like, I want to perform with you tonight. And he was like, you know, I don't even know you. Like, I don't even know you, but you're so confident that I'm going to say yes. So I told my mother, and then they was, you know, because his set was like 3 hours long. So by like the second hour, he probably done forgot about me and gonna just finish his set. And he turns and he looks at me. He's like, you ready? And I'm like, I'm ready. I went out, performed on stage with him. People started thinking and making up rumors that I was his daughter. Because after that performance, that's kind of what blew me up really fast. So people were like, oh no, this is probably his daughter or something like this. Like, it's no way Marshall is going to just stand behind this little girl out of nowhere. And then we developed a close relationship, and just seeing how he perform, I always asked him, like, you have like 3-4 shows back to back. Your set is 3 hours per show. How are you maintaining this? And you're doing this every day for 2-3 weeks straight for Trinidad Carnival. And it's not like you're just walking on stage and you're just singing. Like, this man is jumping and waving, pumping up a crowd. So he's like, you know, he told me performing is an energy, you know. He was like, music is the only thing in this world that is the most universal language, because it could speak to a person and will have a person react without them even realizing. Like, you ever listen to something and it puts you in a certain mood, or you ever watched a movie? If you watch a movie with no music, it's 2 different movies, because the underlying music is what carries that emotion. It makes you feel something without you even knowing. And he was like, when you have that power to captivate so many energies at one time, you got to take time to protect yours. So he was like, but for every performance, he always takes at least 30 minutes by himself, no matter how lit the backstage might be, no matter how many girls is there. He separates himself and just hones in on that energy. And ever since then, I used to start doing the same thing when it came to performing, writing my raps. Even now, like if I know I have to go do a freestyle, I'll be lit, chopping it up with my friends, and then there'll be a time where you'll see me cool down and just be to myself, you know, and I go out, I perform, and then I'm back to regular. But maintaining energy is a big key. And that's one of the biggest things I learned.
Obviously, there's soca artists that inspire you. You mentioned Nicki Minaj. Who else influences your sound? Nicki
Minaj, of course. Then when I fell in love with hip hop, I started listening to Meek. That's like my set. Those 2 are like in my head, like my rapper parents. Like, that's young Devyn right there. So Nicki,
who do you stay with though? They're split up.
Right, you know, we're in a little breakup. I visit each other on the weekends.
Meek on the weekends, okay.
Right, I went Meek on the weekend. I went Nicki on the other weekend. It's a great balance, you know. Great. Right. But yeah, no. Meek, Nicki. Then it came into like DMX. I grew up listening to a lot of Jay-Z, Biggie. Then I started watching documentaries, like Bad Boy documentaries. And then I started getting into the West Coast with like Snoop Dogg and, you know, NWA, like the whole movement. And then it really just made me more so like a student of the game. And I really appreciate that I was so interested, because it helped me with certain things like breath control and your diction. Just little things that in this generation or this day and age, they're not really as paid attention to and championed as much. I think it's so great to have those little key things, because it puts you a little further ahead, which is why I always tell people, make sure you study the game, always.
I mean, that's dope. You're 19 years old and you're going back and you're telling me DMX is one of your influences and you're listening to the old West Coast sound. Like, That's dope. That's crazy. So you make the switch from soca. You're starting to do more hip hop music. We got the single right now, Straight to It. It's buzzing in New York. Talk a little bit about the single. You're spitting bars on it. So
for a while I was doing freestyles because it was a point where I couldn't even release music. So, you know, to maintain myself in my artistry, I just started doing a lot of freestyles. And that's kind of what, you know, gave me my initial visibility. And then I kind of, when I was able to release music again, I didn't want to box myself in as a freestyle rapper. So I stopped doing the freestyles as frequently. Right. And then my team, they were like, Dev, like, you need to put out like a freestyle. I think your fans missed that. I think that would be dope content to put out. So I'm like, okay. And then I kind of was like stalling it a little bit. And then they asked me again. I'm like, okay. So I went on YouTube and I'm like, you know what? Let me do like a little drill beat. Like, I'm going to have fun with this freestyle. Okay. I'm not even going to try too hard, right? So I had fun writing the freestyle. I put it on my Instagram page. It goes crazy on my Instagram. The Shade Room teams repost it. It goes viral on TikTok. I'm like, okay, maybe this is something that I should run with. So to capitalize off the momentum, I'm like, I'm going to turn this into a full freestyle. I wasn't even looking at it as a song yet. I'm like, I'm going to just turn it into like a full freestyle. I'm going to actually go and just record it and put it on audio. But then I ended up extending it, which is like the little breakdown that everybody loves. I know what purple rules that be. So then I recorded it and I'm like, no, this is fire. And I sent it to my team. They're like, no, this is fire. And then I'm like, no, I want to shoot a video. We shot the video, got it done, and put it out. And I'm thinking it's going to just be like, you know, we just put it out there as content for the fans. It took a life of its own. And I've just been super blessed with all of the doors that Straight to It has opened ever since.
Probably one of the first drill sounding records that I've heard a female rapping on too, which is dope to hear.
New York drill been around for a very long time, like since like 2016. Pop Smoke was the one who definitely, because you know it was buzzing and then it kind of died out for like a year or two, and I feel like Pop is the one who brought it back mainstream. Like he took it to a whole new level. Like New York drill didn't even reach that level until he came in and really took it into the music industry, and it became a known thing. But if you do your research, because even I was saying at the time, I'm like, yo, it's nobody really out here, no female doing drill. And this is when it was still underground. So I decided to take it upon myself to do a drill song. So I was like the first female rapper in Brooklyn and New York to really do a drill record with an artist named KJ Baller, God rest his soul. And we did that. It went crazy. And people were saying the same thing, like, wow, there's a female drill artist in New York. And that went super dope. And then, like I said, of course, the drill wave had died down. And then with Pop bringing it back, he brought it back in a I feel like this is a more monumental way because this is actually New York's current sound right now. Like,
and it's like permeated through the rest of the country too. Like everybody knows it now.
Right. It's like this is officially like the New York sound, this New York drill. You know, there's definitely a difference between UK drill and New York drill, but this is definitely a New York sound. And I think the beauty of it is that it could connect globally into the UK. So it's like, you know, of course I wanted to take part in that because I'm from New York. And, you know, I just had fun with doing a freestyle. It wasn't really a conscious decision, but, you know, seeing how it went, I realized and I embraced it. Like, yeah, this is my people. This is where I'm from. And, you know, this drill thing is super dope. And it's fun to write. It really is.
Now, I've seen on your social media, you'll post clips of yourself while your song's playing on the radio. And for me, that's super dope because I love seeing artists' reaction when they hear their own music on the radio for the first time. What's that like? Like, do you just randomly stumble upon it? Does somebody say, hey, they're about to play your music? What's that feeling like when you hear it hit, especially on New York radio, which has to be a crazy feeling?
Right, because New York radio is tough. And I know it's like I knew it was going to be on the radio because my team told me, but it's a difference where people are tagging you or telling you versus you finally experiencing it, right? So I'm coming back from the interview. I'm with my friend. We're driving in the car, and so we're looking at the time, and we're like, this kind of looks like the time that my song should be on the radio. Like, you know, it's no scheduled things, but it's just like I feel like this is the night. This is a nice time. I'm driving home. It's like 8, 9 o'clock. It would be nice. It would be nice to hear my song. You know, it's traffic outside, so I know people listening.
You're putting it into the atmosphere, positive thinking. It's gonna come on.
Right. So we put the radio on for that reason, just to see. But then we just forgot about that conversation. By the time we got over the bridge from Manhattan to Brooklyn, we was already on another topic, laughing, being goofy. Then I'm almost back home and I just hear my song. Like, I think Flex just dropped the bomb. I'm thinking he's about to go into another song and I hear me. I'm like, wait, that's me. And I think I was on FaceTime with my manager at the same time. And so I'm talking to her and like I'm hearing the song on the radio. And I'm like, wait, I'm gonna call you back. And then I hung up. And then I called my mom and I'm like, Mommy, turn on the radio. Then I hung up on her. And then I started recording and screaming out the car, like, y'all, this me on the radio. Like, it was such a great experience. And it really was just like a feeling of accomplishment. Like, wow, like you're really doing everything that you said that you was going to do.
I love that. I love that. What's next? So we got Straight to It, Baby Go EP. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, Baby Go, the EP is dropping. You know, it's been a long time coming. I've never put out a project for my fans. So this is my first official project. I'm really excited. My fans get to see me in all my forms, all my different shapes, sizes, emotions. So I'm really happy about that. And then, yeah, it's coming in a couple of weeks. I have a new record dropping this month, which is another thing that I'm really excited about because it's like straight to it. I'm not even going to say it was an accident because everything is planned in God's hands, you know, but it was more so like I just did it and I wanted to just see what would happen and it went crazy. It's like, now I know, oh, this is what it is. I'm wilding. So the next record, like if people think Straight to It is good, I don't know what they're going to do about the next record. So I'm really just happy how everything is going and I can't wait.
So EP in a few weeks, do we have features on it or is it all you?
No, the good thing is we're dropping 2 projects. So the first EP is going to be just straight me. I kind of want to make my first project about me coming to the game, you know, just with my imprint. You know, I don't want anybody to ever say like, oh, you got lit off of a feature or, oh, if it wasn't for this person, you wouldn't be there. Like I want people to genuinely love me for my music. And I think, you know, it's going to transcend. But the second EP, absolutely fire. Got
some of these in the can or just people that you want to work with?
It's definitely some in the can, definitely some people that I've just been talking to. Definitely I'm a little more patient now because what I thought I wanted to do, Straight to It has opened more doors for me. So it's like I'm meeting newer artists like Rowdy Rebel. I didn't know Rowdy Rebel. We knew of each other, but I never knew him personally. So it's like Straight to It, opening that door and us now being able to work together or just me linking up with a lot of these artists and a lot of artists reaching out to me as well. So, you know, I'm being a little bit more patient because I want to see what this record and my next record does. Because by the time my first EP comes out, I don't even know. I might put Beyonce on my second one.
So you're gonna have Rowdy, you're gonna have Bobby, and you're gonna have Beyonce on it, right?
Yep, you got it. You got it. You got it.
Yes, I love that. I heard Straight to It was the first song, and then I didn't know about the Soca Background. I didn't know about anything else, and I just went. I'm like, let me listen to some other music that you got out. And then you also have this dope track called Secret. Can you talk a little bit about that song?
Yeah, so Secret, like that's kind of one of the first stepping stones into my overall kind of my mastermind plan in the sense of, you know, bridging the Caribbean and the mainstream world together. Because I think, you know, Secret is a song I think would work really great in a pop world, but just as well as it is in Soca and the Caribbean in general, because it is really authentic. I'm not being gimmicky. Like I have a real Trinidadian accent. Like these are real things. So it's like, and on top of that, it's just a fun record. The concept is really fun. Everybody wants to have a little secret or imagine having a little secret. Like, you know, so I think it's just a real fun play on thing. And it took a life on its own too. My fans loved it and responded well to it. And I have more of those that's on the project.
I heard Straight to It and I'm like, okay, this is dope. And then when I heard Secret, I'm like, oh, I get it. Like, Young Devyn's versatile.
Exactly. Like I will always tell people I'm an artist first, but you know, I love the fact that rapping is what's captivating people. Number one, I'm enjoying it. You know, I'm having a lot of fun with it. And you know, with something, it's just a fun sport to be a part of. So I love it. But yeah, there's definitely more sides of me and I'm not rushing it. Like people are going to see for themselves and it's nothing hard to pull up because when you type in Young Devyn, you're still going to see my Soca songs right in those top results. So people know my culture and I always make sure that I rep it no matter what.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I love that energy and excited for the EP, excited for the Rowdy, Bobby, Beyonce feature.
Right. Can't forget Beyonce. Like, come on.
Yeah, we're throwing that in there too. So something I ask everybody that I interview, the Maine state motto is the way life should be. So in Young Devyn's own words, what is the way life should be?
The way life should be peaceful.
Simple as that, one word, peaceful.
Peaceful.
I like it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the time. We're going to continue playing Straight to It up here in Maine, and we can't wait for the new music.
Yes, I'll be there soon.
We're opening things up soon. We're trying. We're opening things up soon. You'll be out here to perform.
I'm the first one there.
All right, perfect. Bet.